Don't adjust your sit. I'm not a crazy Amishman or Abe Lincoln. No, I just grew the beard. So yeah, this video is incredibly hard to make because I could talk about hours and hours worth of movie stuff. Movie fan, gotta say, film fan. Um, yeah, so basically this video is a kind of like an overview of my favorite films, or a portion of them. Because like I said, if I, took the time to talk to you guys about all the films I like, this would be a 2 hour long video. Because I get anxiety when I get asked, what's your favorite movie? Because I'm like, oh, geez, there's like a million of them, right? How could you really, I mean, sure you got your favorites, but I don't know, it's hard to narrow down. Um, all right, so I'm gonna do it like in categories real quick, all right? Horror, it's my favorite category. Um, for oldie stuff, like, 50s, black and white, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, The Mummy, all the Universal horror films. Some of the Hammer horror stuff with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, a lot of films like that. But one film I could watch over and over again without getting tired has to be Evil Dead, like the original. Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness, because, Bruce Campbell's the man, and what can I say? It's a great horror series, Sam Raimi is a genius, and it's filled with gore, 80s goodness, and cheese, and it's just, it can do no wrong. Um, I think after that, you know, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, they all have a place in my heart. George Romero's Living Dead films, Night, Dawn, and Day, love them all. The Italian films, that's like a video on its own. I could go on and on about that, but, that's another video. Um, Dario Argento's Suspiria, great film. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Um, Lucio Fulci's Zombie, gory mess of a goodness. Italian films have no filter back in the day, and between late 60s, I want to say, to like early 90s, they just had a mess of films come out of Italy, just really graphic stuff. Didn't quite make sense, I guess, but I mean, there's like cult status. But yeah, that's like my list when it comes to horror stuff. Recent movies, Hereditary, I can't recommend that enough. If you haven't seen it already, it's a slow burn. It's creepy. The ending will stick with you. Trust me. And let's see, what else can I say? Oh, the Conjuring films, Insidious, all top-notch stuff. James Wan, cool director. He started out with Saw, and oh yeah, and of course Eli Roth, the Hostel films 1 and 2, great. Another set of films that can't do no wrong in my eyes. All right, moving on. Action films. Um, One that I kept going back to, definitely Red Dawn. The 80s version, obviously, with Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen. Great films. Great film, I should say. It was remade, but just skip that. Watch the 80s version of Red Dawn. Uh, Rambo, I love them all. I love all the Die Hard films. Great movies. Bruce Willis is the man. I like the Expendables 1, 2, and 3. I know it's like, you don't need like a brain to watch it. It's not overcomplicated, but I mean, come on. You get all these action stars in one film. It can't go wrong. It's like a popcorn film. It's fun. Oh yeah. And recently, the John Wick series. John Wick 1, 2, and 3. I mean, Keanu Reeves is the man to begin with. He's like right up there. And I think he really shines in the John Wick series. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen John Wick, but you living under a rock, go see him. But yeah, definitely like a big fan of the old war films. The Longest Day, the Dirty Dozen, films like that. The Great Escape. Some of you might know what I'm talking about when it comes to the old, World War II films. Let's see what else. When it comes to action, oh yeah, 80s goodness, like Schwarzenegger, Terminator, John Claude Van Damme's Universal Soldier, great film. Uh, Commando, Predator, Aliens, all that series, the whole Aliens, you know, and Predator, both of them. I like them, their sequels, respectively. And yeah, I think that kind of sums it up for action. I'm sure there's a couple ones I missed, but for those who know me, I think you get the gist. Just for like artsy films, Blade Runner. I like the films. Ridley Scott, great director. Um, Ghost in the Shell, the anime and the live action. I know people are like, yeah, really the live action. Look, the visuals, man, they're incredible. That's all I gotta say. Um, oh yeah, yeah. A notable mention. Back to the horror section real quick. Hills of Eyes. Forgot to mention that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's up there. See, it's such a big list. Can't really compile them all. I have like ADD of movie listing. Anyway, all right. Back to I guess like a artsy film. Um, yeah. Like I said, the Cronenberg films, like the remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, awesome. Dune, David Lynch, those guys. Look those two directors up if you really want like a mind fuck experience. David Lynch or David Cronenberg are your guys to go to. Let's see. Thrillers. Silence of the Lambs, Taxi Driver. Um, I guess I don't know about thrillers. Maybe like drama, thriller, series films. The Godfather series, can't go wrong. Goodfellas, Casino, The Departed, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola. Ooh, another notable mention: Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula with Gary Oldman playing the Count. Awesome. Check it out if you haven't already. Let's see. Ooh, Japanese films. Just a quick mention. Um, Tashike Mike's audition. I'm pretty sure I butchered his name. If you haven't seen any Japanese film aside from The Ring, check out Audition. It's a different kind of. It's not like a ghost Japanese film. The typical with the girl with the long black hair in front of her face. No, this is like a dark horror movie. That's the best way I can describe it. I don't want to give it away, but yeah, it's called Audition. Japanese horror. Check it out. Ichi the Killer. Great movie. It's another one. And yeah, yeah. There's I don't know. You guys should explore it yourself. Like I could go on and on about this, but yeah, there's just so much to touch. So I'm gonna move on. Serious films. Not so much of a drama guy because life is already filled with drama. So like to watch more drama, like I appreciate heartfelt films that definitely bring out the emotion. I'm all for it. Good example: A Boy in his Striped Pajamas, tearjerker, right? Schindler's List, another excellent example. A recent one that you guys may or may not have heard of called The Promise. It's Oscar Isaac. He's the main character. He plays Poe in the new Star Wars films. Oh yeah, Star Wars. I'm a fan, as I mentioned. Anyway, The Promise. Serious, dramatic film. Bit on the sad side. Talks about the Armenian genocide, which is a topic that I don't think it's talked about enough. It's like the Armenian version of the Holocaust, put it that way. And yeah, all the actors in that film have a great portrayal of such a dark time in history. And if you definitely want, something that'll make you feel inside, and sad for a group of people you never met, I would go with The Promise. And like I said, Schindler's List, definitely. Both those movies kind of hand in hand. And I think that's it for now. Ooh, before I forget, another notable mention for horror: Hellraiser films. Come on, Pinhead. He's like the best, horror villain, maybe, I guess. I mean, he's up there with Freddy and, the rest, but I don't know. I feel like the guy's invincible. He's like, what are you bringing to the table? I got chains that come out of walls. How do you beat that? Ooh, comedies. Yes, I love comedy as much as I love really dark horror films. I'm crazy, I know. The Interview. Anything with, like, Seth Rogen, Jason Sudeikis, James Franco. Uh, excuse me. Pineapple Express. I love the stoner comedies. I grew up in that era of like CKY and Bam Margera, and it kind of like stuck with me. So yeah, I enjoy those kind of films. Um, I like the old school comedy stuff, like Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello. They always have a special place in my heart. Let's see, what else? Step Brothers, another favorite of mine. Will Ferrell, he's a funny dude. Um, yeah, like comedy, it's always kind of been like a big part of my life too, just as much as the other genres, and I appreciate it. I like it. I like black comedies, like really comedies that are like have like serious undertones, a little disturbing. A good example of that is The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. Speaking of Jim Carrey, can't forget The Mask, Ace Ventura, you know, Liar Liar, classic films. Almost forgot. Pixar, Disney, yeah, I kind of grew up with that stuff. Toy Stories, all of them. Uh, I don't know, Aladdin, El Dorado, uh, the classic films we all grew up with, Lion King, uh, you know, you know, movies where you could sit down, with your kids and watch them and enjoy them yourself. It's never a dull moment. And I think that kind of sums it up for that. Kind of went off on a rant there. You might have to slow this down just so you can hear my selection. But yeah, as you could tell, movies a big part of growing up. They influenced me to the point where I want to make films, and I did for a while, and I still do. But it just it's hard to get together with friends and churn out a new short movie. But like I said, just like music, it'll always be a part of me. Film, just kind of how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Some notable mentions, I guess. Japanese anime, can't say I'm a huge fan, but going to like a lot of Comic Cons and just appreciating the culture altogether. Um, like I mentioned before, Ghost in the Shell, Guyver, the movie Cat, CAT. It's kind of like The Thing, another great movie, John Carpenter. But yeah, Cat's kind of like a similar version, um, just in Japanese animation. That's pretty cool. Alien Taxa Crew, pretty cool. Akira, awesome. And yeah, I think that kind of, that's the list for my, or my exceeded knowledge for Japanese animation. Like I said, not a huge, huge fan, but, I watch what I like, and, it's pretty fun, pretty cool. It's graphic violence, cartoon style, can't go wrong. I can't believe I forgot this. Big, big influence in my life, and I almost missed it. Puppet Master. Um, Before Chucky, I guess, well, not really before Chucky, but in that era of killer dolls, you had, this span of films. I forgot how, I don't, off the top of my head, I can't really, I think there's like 6 or 7 of them, there's more, whatever. Anyway, Puppet Master, yeah, from Full Moon Entertainment. It's like B movie galore, but the puppets are like, this is pre CGI we're talking about here, so they're animated through like stop motion. So that means every, killer puppet has a animation that's done in camera. So, kills its victims. There's no strings attached, put it that way. And, yeah. Anything Full Moon Entertainment. So the Puppet Master series, Demonic Toys, really, really big, big childhood favorites of mine. And I grew up with that. And, all I can say is if you're a stranger or new to Full Moon Entertainment, and you feel like heavy cheesy B movies, but like with really impressive special effects, kind of sort of, not quite like Tom Savini, Living Dead films, special effects, but up there, I would say. It's just stuff you don't get anymore. As time goes on, directors and film studios invest a lot in CGI. Um, Example, the recent Godzilla film. I grew up in the Godzilla era with guy in a rubber suit stomping miniature buildings in Japan. That was like movie magic to me. I love that. Today it's CGI heaven. Another good example, Marvel films. They, not being a big Marvel comic book fan, but I appreciate the films. If I want to let loose, I watch them, and it's like they take me somewhere else. Um, I mean, I think I speak for everyone here. Marvel's, Avengers, Endgame recently. It's best 3 hours spent in a movie theater. It's, yeah. I mean, it's movie magic. It's just done computerized nowadays, and sometimes they nail it, sometimes they don't. But like I said, I can appreciate it for what it is. And all those films, Marvel films, and so on, comic book movies in general. The Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, especially, all have a special place in my heart too. I appreciate it for what it is, and I like it. I can enjoy it. Um, so I think that covers that section. Definitely lost track. I was going somewhere and I just blurted out movies that I like. When I did a lot of backstepping there, but whatever. You guys get the picture. A whole lot of films to cover. My original plan was to actually take the boxes of the movies I have and show you them, but this video, once again, would have been a 2 hour long video. Just don't have that kind of time. But I hope you guys appreciate me, sharing with you my favorite titles. Like I said, don't be a stranger here. Write in the comment section what you guys like. I'm interested. Movies, are a big part of us. To this day, it's that escape from the craziness of the world. So, I can appreciate that, and I think you guys can too. Oh, also, Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, Robert Rodriguez from Dusk Till Dawn, and Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects. In fact, any of those directors, any of their, movies, are, I think, winners, and definitely due for multiple viewings. Like, you kind of can't go wrong. Quentin Tarantino, Rob Zombie, Robert Rodriguez. They're brilliant. I like them. Alright, gonna wrap it up a little bit. Westerns, not so much a fan, but once again, I could definitely appreciate, especially the spaghetti western, the Italian western films. Think of like most of the stuff from Clint Eastwood. Great actor. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Fistful of Dollars. Just stuff like that. Those kind of films. Very long films, but they don't really hold my. I mean, I like them for they are. I wasn't too much of a big Western fan, but I could sit through one or two. Watch it and appreciate it. The filming's very unique for that time, and they really took off. So there's that. Television series. Like I said, I had my favorites. Some went away, some came back. One that comes to mind, it's a favorite of mine. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Two reasons. I love the fact that it takes place in Philadelphia, and I mean the humor in that is just wicked funny, and some people just might not get it, and I understand. Not everyone's amused by stupid comedy, but I am. So yeah. Obviously, Walking Dead. Who isn't a fan? Fear the Walking Dead. No matter the rise and fall of that, but the view wise, but I'm still gonna watch it because I appreciate for what it is. Game of Thrones. Ended kind of on a sour note, but prior to that, great series. And American Gods, great stuff. Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. It's on Netflix right now. She got picked up again. Great series. And that too. Like, TV series usually come and go with me, but if it's something that catches my interest, like Chernobyl. That was recently on HBO miniseries. Great. The Hot Zone, which is on Nat Geo. Another great series. And yeah, I think that's another subject I could go on and on. I think deserves another video for me to actually get more in depth. But thanks for watching, and until next time, guys. Peace.